Hello, this is Victor at RestoringMercedes.com. Today we have a 1994 Mercedes SL600 with about 40,000 miles, 40,000 miles I think it is. Beautiful example, a beautiful car in really nice shape. Seriously, this is a good example of low mileage vehicle that was stored. Looks like garage kept. Very nice. Well, it does not run right, so we're going to review this vehicle and we're going to take a look at what needs to be done, what are the repairs that it needs, because it does not run very good. The very first thing that I want to talk about is the actual entrance to the vehicle, and this key right here, the batteries, they were flat, and then positive contact point is broken. So I kind of put it together a little bit just to see if it works. It does blink now. I don't know if the camera picks it up. Yeah, I don't know if it picks it up. There it goes. You see, that was infrared right there. But, oh, thank God. All right. That started working because I started the car earlier today. I tried to synchronize it and it did not work, and now it does work. That's absolutely beautiful. At first try it did not work. Well, maybe the contact point was bad because it needs attention anyway. It's extremely annoying to go and open the vehicle with the blade. You just want to hit the button and open the vehicle and get in. Alright, that's like a small detail, but with the car in this condition, everything has to work properly. It's very nice. Now, that's one thing. In the trunk here, we have the trunk lock that does not work. It actually locks and unlocks, but if I use the blade, it does not lock and unlock all locks, just the trunk. So there's some issues there with the trunk lock. Not the end of the world because the vacuum portion works, and that's fine. Now the panel was off slightly here, this one was loose, and that is to be put back together. But hydraulics for the roof, then they don't seem to be leaking, but the shock absorbers that hold trunk lid open, they're weak. They're to be replaced because, you know, the trunk just falls on itself, so they're not holding. That would be also a good thing to do because you don't want this trunk to hit you. This thing has to be put back together, otherwise it's just going to be rubbing against the plastic. It's not going to be good. So anyway, but that's the last thing on the list. The grommet here is cracking. That needs to be replaced so no water is coming into the trunk. The roof condition is good. It's a small tear on this quarter window on the other side, no big deal. Inside there is really nothing to talk about. Everything looks nice and clean. No issues from the inside. Alright, let's take a look at the mileage and then we'll move on. 44,000 miles. Very nice. 44,000, yep. Alright, so this is a beautiful car nonetheless. Well, we're gonna leave it to that. Now, alright, so now we'll move on under the hood area. Well, the insulation here fell off. Okay, whatever, it's not a big deal. That's just a common thing on these cars. They don't last a long time. A couple of years and they need to be replaced. I don't know why, but that's how they are. Except there is one that is the upgraded one, a thick one. But I don't like that one because it's very difficult to glue it so it stays glued. That's not something I would recommend. I would just do replacements every few years with the, you know, the softer one. Alright, so now to the interesting part. The first thing is, when I drove this car, I felt that accumulators are blown. No question about it, because it's not that suspension isn't limp. It's not in limp. It's the accumulators, the feel of the vehicle, the rebound rate. It's just like it. Those are the accumulators. Yeah, that's what it is. So that is on suspension. All four corners replaced because they're probably original, because car looks extremely original. I don't see anything being touched. And that's a beautiful thing about it. It's all intact except for one side. We're gonna get to it. Well, first things first, obviously we'll look at the engine harness that is falling apart, unfortunately. As you can see, all these wires. You don't have to go far. This is enough. You just see these wires and you know that the rest of the harness will be in the same condition. I had to remove this cover here, well, the center cover that covers power steering reservoir. That is actually pretty empty. Also slight leaks here and there. It's a common thing on these cars. But when I remove the cover, I see that somebody missed the engagement for the center guide, so that thing got bent up a little bit. Let's take a look. Here it is. Slightly, no big deal. That can be bent back out because it's supposed to be straight. But see, as funny as it sounds, this doesn't look like it's an important thing, but for the V12 it is very important, for a simple reason. On this side you got the fan, and the clearance between the fan and plastic is extremely low, like very low clearance, very low clearance here. As you can see, the fan is almost there, and in plastic you literally have, like, I don't know, like 3/8 of an inch. That's it. Very low clearance. So that guide is important. You have to make sure that the cover sits tight on it, because if it falls off slightly or you just like dislodges slightly, fan is going to be hitting it hard. Not good. So that is that. Wiper, obviously, wiper and surround, the headlights surround, that is to be taken care of. But if you do one wiper and surround, you do the other side also with it, because to make them match, so they look the same. Washer reservoir, windshield washer reservoir, doesn't seem to be leaking. It's full. Hydraulic for suspension is slightly low. You can see down under there the level, down all the way there. That is on the low side, and that kind of tells you if accumulators are blown. If the system is sealed off, there are no leaks, then when accumulators blow, then fluid enters the accumulators and level drops, right? Because that's the way it is. Moving on to this side, somebody was here before. As you can see, there are some damages here. Air cleaner housing. The attachment point for the rear section is broken, and 10mm nut is missing. That's where this evap valve sits, so that was there. That's that. Not the end of the world, but that's the part of the air cleaner, this whole cleaner. That's where the filter sits. But that is how, that's how it looks. Next, throttle bodies. ASR is lit. One throttle body on the passenger side absolutely silent. Only the one on the driver's side works, and I don't know if it works for long or not, but in any event, car being all original like this, I'm sure throttle bodies need to be serviced regardless. They need to be rewired, they need to be repaired before you move any further, because if this throttle is not given air to one bank of the engine, then obviously you have humongous mismatch. One bank is fine, the other one is starving for air because throttle is not opening. So you got just like weird engine vibrations and power losses and all that good stuff. Well, limp mode also doesn't help, It's funny that the car drove more or less because one throttle still activates, because in limp mode both throttles would be shut down. Then you have total no control on the gas pedal. It's just bad news. So that is that. Another thing is the mass airflow sensor wires. It's these things. I'm not gonna go and cut them or anything like that. I'm just gonna show you the small little area where you can actually see if wires are good or bad. And that's on the SL, it's gonna be right over here. You can see crack and cracked wire. Oh, see, all the others are fine, and the only two of them have some signs of cracking. Insulation is flaking off right there. Just crack right there, crack right there. That tells you that the mass airflow wires are also bad. That is to be done. Lower harness, for that matter. Let's take a look at that. Same situation here. You see cracks developing. That's the lower harness. You see the cracks in insulation, green, blue. Purple will be fine. Purple and white will be fine because that's different insulation. But these wires are biodegradable, so they're already failing. So that is that. That's the lower harness, mass airflows, engine harness, throttle bodies. Standard kind of thing. Nothing to see here. Is just like, you know, it's just the way it is. It's just they all go bad on these models, so nothing you can do but to repair them, replace, or whatever. Throttles are extremely expensive, so those are to be rebuilt. Lower harness to be rewired, because I don't think it's sold anymore. And the engine harness right there, either to be rewired, repaired, because I don't believe that is sold anymore as well. They're discontinued, all these things. And throttle body is $4,000 a piece. That's $8,000 for the throttles. That's ludicrous. So with this mileage, they will be fine internally. It's just something, you know, the wires most likely shorted. And also, when wires do short, there's a possibility for the control module damage, and that is to be seen next. But throttles has to be properly working. First of all, they both have to work properly. Otherwise, what's the point replacing the control module where throttle shorts? You put another module, burn that module right away, and that's it. No good. So far, that's all I have to say about that. And I don't know about evap valves. I don't want to run the engine to make it so hot that I can't touch anything here under the hood, and it's brutally hot outside. On top of that, plus humidity is like 80%. There's no air. It's like hard to breathe. So, and then the engine being hot is just a total nightmare. So that's that. So I don't know if those work, but that's going to be the last thing on the list, really. That's just like whatever. And very important thing is I don't see AC working. Air conditioner doesn't seem to work at all. So either there is no gas in the system, or there's something wrong with the activation on the compressor, or whatever the case is. But I don't want to even go there, because the car needs all these other jobs done, and AC is extremely important. I get it, but that will be also sort of a last thing on the list. Well, one of the last things. The last thing would probably be the roof. As you look inside the engine, it is like brand new condition. Beautiful, beautiful engine, as you can see. That is nice. 40,000. Yeah, I like seeing these kind of cars with low mileage. It's always nice to see clean stuff. Such a classic with the low mileage is always a nice thing to see. Now, motor mounts, I don't know. I can't see them from here. That would be seen if, let's just try. If I may, I can't show you that. I cannot show you the engine mounts, because the engine mounts, they're deep down underneath the exhaust manifold, and to see them, you remove one of the cleaners. On the V12, that's like that. On this model, it's like that. You have to remove one of the cleaners to look at the mounts. And that is that. So right now, that would pretty much be enough. And I would like to show you the codes, but I guess I won't, because the only thing that I had, yes. Okay, so the concern that I had, not gonna go and connect the computer to other modules and all that good stuff, no need. All I wanted to see is diagnostic, because check engine is lit. So we got idle speed control, ignition system. And that is something weird. Secondary bank ignition system, and ignition system on the primary bank, and full load information. Okay, so that's multiplexer is out. Well, that's a common thing on these multiplexers. So this is where we are. Ignition system, okay, maybe there's some issues, yes, I get it, but that is to be looked further and diagnosed properly. But first, throttle bodies, both throttles, that's the first thing. Second, mass airflow sensor wires. These two are a must, and then you can move on with further diagnostic. Right now it's not possible, because you have to approach this as step-by-step process. You can just like change the engine harness and think everything will be fixed. No, it won't, because the problem is in different part of the vehicle electronics. So those two steps are the first two steps. Throttles, make sure they both work, and mass airflows, the wires, make sure that they're not shorting. Then you move on with others. And I think that would be all for me for now. Well, the headlight wiper and the bezel, that's the cosmetics, that's the last thing on the list. But yeah, look at that, the bumper is nice, straight, not deformed. Fog lights are nice and clean. Very nice piece, very nice car. It seems like there is a slight damage here on the front, just a slight push. Shouldn't be a big problem. You know, I have a feeling that maybe when the car was on the lift at some point, when the hood opened all the way and it was risen up on the lift and the hood hit the roof, sometimes this happens. Yeah, that might be. I'm just saying, I'm just speculating. I'm not, like, you know, I can, but it's not the end of the world. That can be bent back out and stuff like that. The roof, well, you know what, let's try the roof. See if roof activates. I never tried it, so I don't know. Let's try it. Yeah. Okay, if the roof activated, let's take a look at the hydraulics here real quick, because that is important, you know, for the roof. Since I have it open like this, you know, might as well just take a look at that. Okay, lights are on. Older style piston for the main. Don't see any leaks there. Bow extension seems okay. The lock here also seems okay. No hydraulic leaks. Rear locks. See this, when the roof is open, you can see this easily. Right there. You got one that's okay. The lock cylinder is also okay. Alright, so driver's side is clear. Just keep it, sits a little bit under tension. Let's take a look on the other side. That's already encouraging. Okay, so the main over here is okay. Bow extension is okay. The lock seems to be dry also. You can't miss the hydraulic fluid. Very aggressive fluid and leaks all over the place, covers everything. And this one seems alright. And the one for the lock also seems fine. Alright, so that's good news. They seem to be original, yes, but at least they don't seem to be leaking. Although I see bolts over here broken loose. You see these bolts right here? The seats where they attach to the body of the vehicle. See, like they were moved. So the rears, either it moved because of the age, or they were replaced or removed. No idea. These ones seem to be exactly where the factory put them in. Alright, so that's that. The rest, I don't see any kind of scratches, so the mains seem to be all original. That's that. Alright, so then that is already encouraging. At least hydraulics Seems fine. This one also moved. If you look at it, either moved or somebody removed and reinstalled tonneau cover lock pistons. See right here, you can see in the back there the lock cylinder is in its place from factory. The bolts, I know it's hard for me to make video, but if you look, yeah, I can't, this camera does not, that's it, that's its limitation. I can't show any. Yeah, right there, see that bolt right there. Come on. See, that bolt right there is fine. So nobody touched the locks here. Well, anyway, we're good. We're good with that, at least for now. I don't see hydraulic leaks up here. But usually this is where you start seeing leaks from the fronts. So far, so good. They do hold on. All right, I'm gonna close the roof. Battery's being a little weak, of course, but that's about all for now, and that's enough. Shifter bushings, they also make noise, but that's enough for me. Radio, it says code. Need to put the code in it. Antenna came up, amplifier activated, I hear it. Antenna is going down. Vents move. You know, it's nice. The mirror. So take a look at the mirror. It's at maximum height. Oh, the mirror. Yeah, the mirror is broken internally. Yeah, that's to be repaired as well. Okay, that is enough for me for now. It's enough things to be done, but nonetheless, it absolutely needs to be repaired. This car is nice, very nice. Paint is excellent. Tires, brakes, I'm not sure. I didn't look at brakes, but it stops pretty well. Brake fluid is even clean. Like as you can see, it's still clean, man. I mean, it's original stuff. Okay, so this is it. Extremely long video, but that's my first look at this car, and maybe later we'll get back to it and take a look at the condition and how it runs after all, you know. And then I'll see with the computer how exactly it runs. If it's repaired properly, readings and all that will be all shown. This is it. This is Victor at HistoryMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.